only Wednesday, but it's also marks Women in Sports Day, and we wanted to use the day to have that Studio 10 spotlight and shine it on local women who are paving the path and inspiring others on and off the sports field. And one of those wonderful women is Nikki Norris over at East Lansing High School. You are the Director of Athletics. How's it going?
It's fabulous. Thanks for having me here today.
Yes, we're excited to talk a little bit about how sports has played a role in your life. But let's start off a little bit about your current job, what you have right over at East Lansing High School. Your hands are full as the athletic director over with the Trojans. But talk a little bit about all of the coordinating, all of the overseeing that you do in this position.
Well, I'm very fortunate to be at East Lansing. I'm in my 7th year there, and we have, across all seasons, we have about 50 teams at various levels, and probably closer to 75 coaches. And so the coordination involves scheduling and getting buses and having officials and making sure that everybody goes the right way on the highway. You don't want to mess that up. So there's a lot of coordination with other athletic directors. One of the unique things with our profession is we can't do it without the other school. And so it's really important that we coordinate all of our schedules and our coaches know all of our rules and all those things to make sure we provide the best experience for our students.
Right, exactly. It's kind of a community in itself. Everyone knows everyone.
Yes.
Sportsmanship has to happen all the way up to the top as well, even with some of those rivalries that we love to have time and time. But yes, you're overseeing so much. I know we were talking a little bit about even today, and supporting the students too plays a major role. But I had to ask you, how did you get into sports? So how did that love of sports come up with you?
Well, it started when I was very young, and because my older brother and my dad were playing catch in the backyard, and I wanted to be a part of it because it looked like fun. I was very fortunate that I had parents that said you can go do anything you want to do, and there were times I played on the boys' baseball team up until a certain point because there weren't as many opportunities for females at that time. So as I grew, I had the opportunity to play sports in high school. I went to Alma College and ran track there, got into officiating, and got into coaching right away.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that even though I came from a family of educators, I still wanted to be one. And so I got into teaching and coaching right away and spent a lot of time working with young student athletes.
Yes, and we're seeing some of those pictures right there. Did you have a female athlete that inspired you over the years, or you've seen one recently?
Well, that's a really good question because at the time there wasn't a lot of females in mainstream media. So probably my first inspiration was my mom, who when she played sports, they didn't have organized sports at her high school. And then as I grew, I saw a lot of coaches that I wanted to emulate and be like, Pat Summitt. There's some fabulous coaches out there. But I would say my best inspiration are my 2 daughters. And they are, they played sports in high school. And they went to college and played volleyball at the collegiate level. And so when I'm trying to think about what's best for our student athletes, I reflect on what would I want for my children. And so they're probably my biggest source of inspiration.
We love that. And they're your cheerleaders, and they're your cheerleaders too.
Yes. And
so, obviously, we mentioned that there wasn't a lot of women in sports or women's sports opportunities back in the day, and we're seeing more of a growth. What are some of the biggest obstacles that you've seen, and how have you overcome them over the years?
I think the biggest obstacle for me getting into a primarily male-dominated field at the beginning was the self-awareness that I can do this and to believe that I belonged in that space. And I see that a lot with young administrators, young coaches, that they do have a right to be there and they have a lot to offer their student athletes. My peers were actually very supportive, from the very beginning, and so that was reassuring to me that I did belong there.
Yes, and so I have to ask, and we've been talking a lot about reassurance, knowing that you can do this, you have a space. So what advice would you have for women that want to kind of get into a leadership role, either on or off the field?
Lean in, believe that you be there, that you belong there, and you are enough.
Okay, look at some great words. And I can see those on T-shirts or ones that we can put on our desk. Lean in. Thank you so much, and obviously keep up the amazing work and safe travels, because I know you said you're going to support the wrestling team later today. But thank you so much. You do amazing work.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us here.
Yes. Well, we are continuing to kind of highlight women in sports.